Welcome to GBTA's Annual Business Meeting, and thank you for joining us. I'm Rosemary Maloney, President of the GBTA Board of Directors. Today, we come together to reflect on 2025, a year that not only defined achievement, but investment in our association and our foundation. We made deliberate choices to invest, in particular, the digital platforms that our members and constituents engage with to learn, network, share best practices, and track their careers. We also invested in our global community and advocacy efforts to ensure a resilient future for business travel itself. Those investments are positioning you, our members, and GBTA for what lies ahead. As always, following today's meeting, this presentation will be available in the About section of gbta.org, and a video recording will be shared on GBTA's YouTube channel. Whether you are joining us live or watching the replay, thank you for being part of this GBTA annual meeting. Today is about recognizing the progress that we've made. It's also about understanding how our continued investments are driving impact, ensuring GBTA remains the leading voice and most relevant connector for the global business travel industry. Together, we turned intention into action in 2025, and together we are building an even stronger future for our industry. Together we turned, at GBTA, our mission and everything we do is grounded in three core pillars: community, learning, and advocacy. These are not only guiding principles, they are where we continue to invest and strengthen in our industry's future. We bring together people across regions and roles to share knowledge, elevate standards, and speak with a unified voice on issues that matter most. Today, that collective strength represents more than 9,000 members worldwide in an industry projected to reach $1.7 trillion this year. Our strength comes from our community, our members, our volunteer leaders, our partners, and our internal team. Together, we are growing a more connected and informed industry and creating impactful new programs and resources. In 2025, we united our community through engagements across the globe. We introduced new learning and research initiatives, and we advanced advocacy that supports the industry's growth and resilience. At the same time, financial stewardship and transparent government remain central to how GBTA operates, ensuring we maintain the trust that members place in us. GBTA will continue to invest in what matters most: innovating, evolving, and advancing our collective progress. Thank you all for your continued support. And with that, it is my pleasure to now hand the meeting over to Suzanne Neufang, CEO of GBTA.
Thank you, Rosemary, and hello everyone who's joining us today. It's great to be with you today for our 2025 Annual Business Meeting. As Rosemary shared, this meeting is important for GBTA and to our members. It's where we take a moment to look back at what we've accomplished and how we've continued to evolve as an association and as an industry. Today, I'll walk through some of the top highlights from 2025, notably for our programs, our impact, and our financial performance, as well as some key milestones that defined last year. I'll also focus on a bit of what's ahead for the rest of 2026. There is a great deal of momentum and even more opportunity in front of us. And finally, as Rosemary mentioned, we'll close out today's meeting with the announcement of the 5 newly elected members to the GBTA Board of Directors. As the Board of Directors and our team consider GBTA's opportunity to make a real difference for our members and industry, here's what's guiding us at GBTA during this 2-year period. Focusing on key offerings which enrich and expand global member impact. Reimagining the member community and learning experience with new digital platforms. Leading with research and trusted insights to better understand trends and potential industry impacts. Fostering our industry partnerships. And finally, advancing advocacy and foundation initiatives to drive meaningful progress across our industry. Thank you for supporting GBTA and the broader business travel community through your membership and these important GBTA initiatives. Now, let's take a look at some of last year's key results, including our 2025 financial performance, and how they align with GBTA's strategy and overall priorities. The financials here reflect our audited 501c6 association results for the 2025 fiscal year, the period from January 1st through December 31st, 2025. As of year-end 2025, GBTA remains in a very strong financial position. On the left, you can see we closed the year with $23.6 million in total assets and $7.1 million in liabilities, resulting in net assets of $16.5 million. This solid net asset position continues to provide us with financial stability and flexibility as we invest in strategic priorities, including digital platforms intended to provide members and constituents with an improved and personalized experience. It also ensures we have reserves to weather pandemic, geopolitical, or economic crises in the future. On the right side, you can see from a year-over-year perspective that we saw meaningful growth across the balance sheet. Assets increased by $4.2 million from $19.4 million to $23.6 million. Liabilities increased by $1.9 million, primarily driven by an increase in deferred revenue, that is, advanced payments for future events, reflecting strong early registration and sales revenue collected in 2025 for 2026 offerings. Overall, net assets grew by $2.3 million from $14.2 million to $16.5 million, reflecting continued strong financial performance. On the bottom of the slide, you can see our revenue and expense performance. Total revenue for 2025 was $23.9 million, and total expenses were $23.5 million, resulting in a $400,000 positive change in net assets, further strengthening our financial position. The revenue excludes gains realized in our investment reserves, as those are non-operational gains. The expenses include investment expenditures for new learning, community, and member profile platforms, some of which have been released in the first half of 2026. Additionally, in 2025, GBTA granted $22,000 in educational scholarships, underscoring our ongoing commitment to investing in the professional development of our members and supporting their continued growth and success. Overall, 2025 was a strong financial year for GBTA. We saw continued global membership growth, strong performance across our flagship convention and other core offerings, and further expansion into key regions, in particular Asia Pacific. With this solid financial foundation, GBTA is well positioned to continue investing in innovation, enhancing member value, and strengthening our leadership position within the industry and externally with public affairs advocacy work. In addition to our financials, there are other measures which we track at GBTA every year to benchmark our year. In 2025, total global membership, including GBTA and US chapter membership, grew to over 9,400 worldwide, representing a strong 6% increase over 2024. We continue to grow globally and attract new members, increasing and diversifying GBTA's presence and footprint around the world. For the first time in GBTA's history, in 2025, more members were based outside of the US than in the US. In 2025, 49% were in the US and 51% were non-US based, versus 52% US and 48% non-US in 2024. We also maintained a balanced mix in our global membership between direct members who are buyers and allied members who are suppliers and intermediaries. In 2025, direct members represented 42% of our membership, with allied members at 58%, which was similar to 2024. Our membership retention remained strong as well at about 71% in 2025, which interestingly is right in the middle of the benchmark average range for individual member associations based in the United States. Of course, our reach goes well beyond membership, as our digital and event constituency reached nearly 100,000 individuals. Last year, we continued to bring our members and industry constituents engagement opportunities for learning and connection. Over the course of the year, we delivered nearly 840 hours of learning, 58% more than in 2024, including through brain dates, which are small, curated peer-level discussion sessions. We made these available for the first time to buyers at convention and to buyers and suppliers at our Europe conference in 2025. Our learning opportunities reached over 22,000 industry professionals through global and regional events, webinars, online viewings, podcasts, and GBTA Academy, which for your information is now known as GBTA Learning after we launched our new learning platform earlier this year in 2026. In our mission to advance professionals and careers, over 600 benefited from the GBTA Academy or got certified as global travel professionals. Learning opportunities also included 95 convention education sessions across 16 topic tracks, including new ones focused on AI and future workforce. Reflecting our members' daily engagement with each other, there were over 72,000 online interactions last year in our GBTA Hub, which has also now evolved to be called the GBTA Community Plus platform. Here, GBTA members continue to support and learn from each other in meaningful ways, from sharing real-time insights and best practices to solving challenges, to accessing valuable resources in GBTA's Library of Education and Research. Thanks to every one of you and others who contributed to our GBTA member community in 2025. Your participation and expertise are what make the GBTA network so vibrant and relevant every day. Now, let's turn to some highlights from last year, which reflect other areas of meaningful progress and advancement for the association and our foundation. In-person connection continues to be at the heart of GBTA's impact around the world and indeed to the business travel industry itself. We hosted more than 42 in-person events in 17 countries, bringing together thousands of attendees and participants. Our largest event, of course, is the annual GBTA convention. Last year in Denver, we welcomed nearly 5,400 attendees from 52 countries, reinforcing our convention's role as the industry's premier global gathering. Nearly a third of those convention attendees were first-timers, proving that GBTA expands awareness of the business travel industry to new entrants and growing programs. We also strengthened regional engagement through the expansion of our business travel forums, growing in Canada and Latin America, and launching new forums in Australia and India. At the same time, the global volunteer community also continues to expand, working within more than 45 volunteer boards, committees, and councils worldwide. Together, these efforts are creating a connected, engaged, and truly global business travel community. In terms of a regional spotlight today, 2025 was a defining year for GBTA in Asia Pacific, one which firmly established it as our fastest growing region. From our base in Singapore and throughout the APAC region, year-over-year membership for 2025 grew 54% to almost 600, alongside a highly engaged network of over 100 volunteers driving local and regional impact. Thanks to board support, we also made strategic investments to expand our presence on the ground, launching new advisory boards in China and India, growing in Japan, and continuing the work of new country managers in the key markets of India and Australia. We also added to our existing GBTA team in Singapore. This growth and energy were evident at our 2025 APAC conference, which brought together more than 950 attendees from 32 countries, with strong participation from corporate buyers and industry partners from across the region. And by the way, our 2026 APAC conference was even more successful this past May, but we'll highlight that for you in the 2026 annual report next year. Back to 2025, last year we also reached an important governance milestone with APAC and LATAM securing their first elected seats on the GBTA Global Board, ensuring stronger regional representation in our global strategy. Another important area of investment to highlight today and for progress in 2025 was in evolving our member digital experience. Over the past 18 months, and thanks again to board support, we've been investing in the modernization of a core association system, our membership profile platform. This modernization effort will start to bear fruit for us and for you, our members, near the end of 26 and into 2027. Another member-facing digital platform, the GBTA Hub, was also in need of replacement, and in 2025, much of the work and investment took place to be able, in April 2026, to launch GBTA Community Plus. We're already hearing that you appreciate Community Plus's improved usability, navigation, and access to resources. Ultimately, digital platform investment is about creating a more connected, seamless, and future-ready experience for our members and constituents. And that continues into our new GBTA learning platform. Last year, again, most of the investment and heavy lifting was done internally and with volunteer leadership help to reimagine our education ecosystem, developing new and retrofitting existing courses, and ultimately better connecting learning to our members' professional journey. In addition to our live, virtual, and in-person courses, this new digital on-demand curriculum lets members learn at their own pace and on their own schedule. Last November, in a soft launch of the new learning platform, we launched our first on-demand course, Fundamentals of Strategic Meetings Management, which has been a great success. And we're looking forward to expanding the learning catalog of on-demand options, which is continuing throughout this year in 2026. Related to learning, our team is now focused on scaling and expanding our offerings, integrating with Community Plus, and eventually our new member profile system. We're expanding content, certifications, and learning pathways. In just 18 months, we've gone from concept to full deployment, and the new integrated learning platform is now positioned as a key driver of education leadership and future growth to benefit our members and the industry itself. Another key source of learning comes from the insights driven by GBTA's ongoing research efforts. Our insights are highly valued by our members, as well as by corporate leaders, policymakers, media, and industry stakeholders to understand business travel's prevailing trends and where we're going. In 2025, we continue to maximize the depth and reach of our research, from delivering impactful studies to sharing actionable insights broadly through webinars, podcasts, and of course, event education. We published the 17th GBTA Business Travel Index, our flagship global forecast spanning 5 years, which in 2025 included data representing 72 countries, 44 industries, and insights from over 7,300 business travelers around the world. We advanced other core studies, including issuing our annual global pricing forecast, and we introduced new research. This included studies outlining the ROI of business travel in the US and for the first time in the UK, as well as our first India-focused research as we continue to expand our global perspective and that of our members and partners. Our regular GBTA-driven polls also continue to provide in-the-moment tracking and analysis of industry sentiment and an outlook on timely topics, including global spending and volume expectations, technology trends, and the impacts of geopolitics on our industry. Ultimately, our research is about more than data, though. It's about helping the industry stay ahead of what's coming, turning insight into action, building a prepared constituency base, and powering smarter decisions overall. Much of our research is made possible through collaboration with industry suppliers and partners. Thank you to all who supported this very important work in 2025, because GBTA is where the industry comes to learn and leaves ready to lead. And in terms of leading, GBTA is proud to be the one global trade organization advocating with governments and other policymakers on behalf of the business travel industry. Advocacy is the third and critical pillar of our mission, and we're operating at a scale and with a significant level of investment and reach. In 2025, we amplified our advocacy impact, ensuring business travel remains top of mind at critical moments of policy decision-making. We started last year by setting clear, globally aligned priorities across the US and EU in particular, building unified policy roadmaps to promote efficient and predictable border crossings, traveler mobility, and long-term industry resilience. From there, we translated those priorities into action, engaging directly with policymakers and partners across the US and Europe, most importantly, and also within the UK and Canada. We connected over 150 GBTA volunteers with policymakers in over 200 meetings, in particular at our annual US Legislative Summit, in 2 European Advocacy Weeks in Brussels, and at our first ever GBTA-hosted European Parliament event. And importantly, these conversations drove real influence, helping shape key legislation from the US's FAA reauthorization bill to advancing dialogue on border issues, passenger rights, and emissions-related policies in the EU. At the same time, we mobilized the industry's voice, bringing thousands of professionals into the conversation. Through educational webinars, newsletters, and briefings, we kept our global community informed, engaged, and ready to act. Because ultimately, our role at GBTA is not just to represent the industry, but also to help shape its future and ensure business travel has a seat at the policy table when it matters most. Some of the key policy wins in 2025 included advancing business travel by improving traveler mobility, increased border staffing, expanded secure biometrics, and clearer rollout of EU entry-exit systems. Improving travel's resilience continued to gain momentum through major initiatives for sustainable aviation fuel progress, on rail investment, and on new emission standards shaping the future of transport. At the same time, modernization of travel distribution efforts included our focus on air traffic control upgrades and multimodal ticketing, both of which will help improve system reliability, affordability, and ultimately reaching one's destination on time and making it back home safely. This, after all, is what our industry is all about. And we also advocate from within. In 2025, that meant advocating for innovation and technology advancement through our new Venture Connect program. Last year, we connected dozens of startups in the US and Europe with potential investors and buyers advocates to help founders make their way in an often quite complicated industry ecosystem. Advocating for our members, you, through our various platforms and learning offerings to help careers develop and your strategic confidence to grow. And finally, advocating for member and volunteer recognition because, as Rosemary said at the beginning of our meeting today, within GBTA, our community makes all the difference, and we want to celebrate those making the biggest difference in our work and our programs. Importantly, the peer review process sets our education sessions and recognition awards apart, whether it's GBTA's board level awards, event education session selection, or foundation program related recognition. This peer review process helps ensure deserving recognition amongst our thousands of members and volunteers. And speaking of our foundation, the forces reshaping business travel today, from workforce transformation to the energy transition, are not just risks to manage, they are opportunities to lead. That belief is at the core of the work of our GBTA Foundation, which views business travel as a force for good, but for which people and planet cannot be taken for granted and need to be ready for the future. 2025 was a year of many milestones where the foundation continued to help the industry turn conviction into action. First, regarding people and building the workforce of the future. By the end of 2025, we provided the platform for mentoring more than 2,500 professionals across 23 countries, with 70% already advancing in their careers as a result. We also continued to expand core programs like Win It, Ladders, and Next Gen, and introduced new external scholarship opportunities. Second, regarding planet and building sustainable progress, by the end of 2025, 435 companies representing over $35 billion in travel spend were actively engaged in our annual Sustainability Acceleration Challenge. We're seeing growing adoption of sustainable travel policies and solutions like RFP standards and SAF, helping move the industry forward in measurable ways. And third, regarding industry alignment, because we cannot do this work alone, by the end of 2025, we advanced standards and toolkits around sustainability and accessibility in multiple languages. Across all of this, the momentum is real. Within 3 years of setting up the new foundation, we've been supported by more than $6 million in collective donation funding from over 66 partners and over 200 industry leaders helping to guide that work. Thank you so much. And amongst the key foundation leaders to thank are the GBTA Foundation Board of Directors for the year 2025. Thanks to their support and strategic guidance, we are advancing our mission to foster a stronger, future-ready workforce and promote resilient best practices within the business travel industry on a global basis. And to round out a review of 2025, I also want to recognize our GBTA Allied Leadership Council, representing our most supportive partners across several travel supplier categories. The Allied Leadership Council plays a vital role in representing the allied or supplier community and strengthening GBTA's position and offerings across our key pillars of learning, community, and advocacy. Their insights in 2025 and now into 2026 help to ensure that we're meeting the evolving needs of business travel supplier teams and their core businesses. Just like our buyer members, these supplier voices are essential in shaping the future of business travel. We're deeply grateful for their continued support in advancing GBTA's mission locally, nationally, regionally, and globally. So now let's take a look at a couple of things happening for the remainder of the year 2026 at GBTA. Our GBTA convention this August, just a few weeks away, is in Chicago and where everything we've talked about today truly comes to life. For the first time, we'll kick things off pre-convention with the 2026 Foundation Gala, which is an exciting new moment for our community to come together around mission-driven foundation impact. Then on Monday, we'll once again bring together thousands of industry professionals from around the world for the GBTA convention, buyers, suppliers, partners, for 3 days that are all about connection, learning, and moving the industry forward. Yes, we built in meaningful time for networking and the expo floor because we know that's where relationships are built and real business happens. And from a content and learning standpoint, we're focused on business transformation, career progression, business travel forecasts, AI, sustainability, payments, risk, and overall leadership, delivered through impactful main stage sessions and a robust lineup of, again, over 90 education sessions featuring over 250 speakers and presenters. And we're bringing our advocacy for innovation front and center this year, including Venture Connect on the main stage for the first time on day 3. And as so many of you know, while GBTA is more than our annual convention, this event is where our industry connects, learns, and shapes what's next. I hope to see all of you there. And there are still many other opportunities to come together as an industry throughout the second half of 2026 to connect with industry colleagues face-to-face or in a virtual learning environment. Our calendar is available at gbta.org, including information about our LATAM conference in Mexico City in early October, our Win It Summit in Dallas in late October, and our Europe conference with German partner VDR and Austrian partner ABTA for the first time in Vienna in early November, amongst other national and regional offerings listed here. Finally, before I hand the mic back over to Rosemary, I'd like to leave you with 5 things you can do to help make the most of your GBTA membership and experience. Because there is opportunity to not only participate, but also to lead, to connect and stay connected within a truly global community throughout the year, to build skills that will define your career within the future of business travel, to step up and shape what's coming next, and to share the insights that drive our industry and the world of business travel forward. So I invite each of you to get involved, raise your voice, be part of what makes GBTA great and relevant and essential to the future of our industry. because the strength of GBTA is our community and what we do together. Thank you for being part of our growing global community, and thanks for your kind attention. Now, back over to you, Rosemary.
Thank you, Suzanne. It is now my pleasure to move to the results of our 2026 GBTA Board of Directors election. The role of the GBTA Board is to guide the strategic direction of the association, helping to shape the mission that supports our industry. The board's leadership and expertise are essential in driving progress and ensuring GBTA remains aligned with the evolving needs of business travel professionals. Serving on the board is a unique opportunity for industry leaders to make a lasting impact. GBTA members play a vital role in our governance by voting in our annual elections and helping shape the future in that way as well. The elections process began in late March with the call for nominations and ended yesterday when voting closed. All GBTA direct and allied members in good standing were eligible to vote for 4 open at-large board seats, 3 allied and 1 direct. In addition, our European-based members voted for the open Europe Regional Director seat. Elections are run by a third-party election services corp who manage the emails, nominations, and an auditable voting process. We appreciate all who stepped forward to participate in this very important process, the 17 board candidates who ran for 5 open seats, and to all of you who casted your votes. The new directors announced today will begin serving their terms on August 5th at the conclusion of convention in Chicago. Now I'm pleased to announce that the candidate elected for the direct member at large seat is Leslie Andrews, Director of Category Management, JLL. Next, the candidate elected for our Europe Regional Director seat is Ben Park, Executive Director, Travel and Sustainability at Parexel. And there were 3 individuals elected for the open allied Director at large seats. The first individual in alphabetical order is Kim Conway, CEO, Ask4 Group. The second individual is Evan Koppel, Director of Sales, Atlantic Region for United Airlines. And the third individual is Katie Virtue, Consultant, Temoji. Congratulations to the 5 newly elected and re-elected board members who will start their 2-year terms on August 5th at the close of convention. And thank you again for all who ran and for all those who voted. Your engagement is what makes our association truly special. We look forward to the contributions and leadership of this GBTA Board of Directors for the remainder of 2026 and through the first half of 2027. Thank you to all for joining us today for the annual business meeting and for your engagement in the 2026 election. Your voice matters and it shapes where we go next.